Okay, thank you. I'm Tennessee State Representative Justin J. Pearson, representing District 86 in the Tennessee House of Representatives. It's my honor and privilege to represent communities all across Memphis, from South Memphis and Westwood and Boxtown to Harbortown, all the way up to the Millington area. And I'm asking that MDEQ deny xAI or its subsidiary the permit that they are applying. And there are several reasons why. But let's talk a little bit about our family history. My pawpaw actually comes from March, Mississippi. We have a deep connection to this state and to the history of this place. And we are 7th generation Tennesseans on my mama's side. And so the fact that this is happening is really connecting our ancestry and our history together. But that ancestry has taught us one thing in particular, that people in corporate positions of power will often exploit those who they think are the most vulnerable to try and gain more access to resources, despite the implications on our children, on our grandchildren, and on people who are most vulnerable. And what I want to say to everyone who was here is, one, thank you. And also take a minute to look around the diversity of this room, the power that we are all bringing, no matter what our faith traditions, our political beliefs, and those things like that, to say that clean air is a human right is powerful. And our work is palpable. I was most disconcerted at the start of this because you were saying that you believe that xAI would actually be able to meet the requirements that are required by Tennessee law and the Clean Air Act. But in reviewing the letter from the Southern Environmental Law Center and our community groups, including Memphis Community Against Pollution, I'm sure you would see some things that they would not be able to do. In particular, as it relates to their PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5 exposure, they only articulated in their permit assessment that their 41 turbines will emit only 19.5 tons of particulate matter 2.5, while generating well over a gigawatt, 1.2 gigawatts of power. This, as we wrote, is simply not plausible. The gas turbines at TDA's nearby Southaven plant, which is only 800 megawatts of power relative to xAI's MZX plant, emits 315 tons of particulate matter 2.5, and they only 800 megawatts. So how is it possible that a facility that's producing 1.2 gigawatts of power is going to produce only 19.5 tons of particulate matter 2.5? They may have an extremely powerful AI technology, but they aren't magicians. And it's the responsibility of you all to not just take what they're saying for granted and at face value, but to do a little bit more research and work to determine whether or not what they are saying is actually plausible and possible. Which is why the research that I know has been made public by SELC, by 2 Harvard epidemiologists and researchers, is really important. The consequences of this pollution are going to be in Southaven, the Horn Lake area, but it's also going to be in Westwood and Whitehaven, communities that I represent in Memphis. We share the air, and pollution doesn't care about the imaginary boundaries that have been written across our states, which is why we have to have solidarity when we are standing up and when we are speaking up. But the responsibility that we have as elected officials and the responsibility that you all have as government officials is not to bend to the power of billionaires, but rather always do what is in the best interest of the people. And I understand we have a billionaire breathing down your neck, a weak governor who wants to just accept more tax money no matter who it comes from, and a mayor who is not responsible and being responsive to his citizens, that it feels like you have to answer to that pressure. But you have a responsibility to care about the people. And the consequences of this plant are real. And if you look at the research and the only environmental impact study that's been done by 2 Harvard-trained scientists, you will understand the ramifications of your decision are too significant to allow for this permit to happen. I'll wrap up here. But the negative cost of $30 to $44 million per year in premature deaths per year is because of premature deaths. Is because of lost productivity and hospitalization, totaling $588 to $862 million over the next 30 years. But here's what's important about that research that we have been articulating, many people will continue to share. That is the conservative estimate. That is using xAI's permit, saying that there's actually 19.5 tons of particulate matter that's going to be released every year. In actuality, if we use the accurate number, which what we expect it to be, which is closer to the TBA's number, which is over 300 tons of particulate matter 2.5, we can expect billions of dollars in damages and a significant increase likely in the amount of people who are going to die because of the pollution of this permit, because of the pollution from this company. Those are the things that we're asking for you to take into consideration, that people matter way more than profits, and that no matter what these companies or these elected officials are asking you to do, your responsibility is to the health of our community. It's to the health of our children, our grandchildren, and those generations that are to come. And so the fact that you started off saying it looks like they're going to be able to do this was wrong, because they are not going to be able to protect the health of this community. There is no healthy amount of pollution. There is no healthy amount. And you all really need to interrogate this permit. You need to put a pause, give more time for yourself to study it, as well as give the community more time for input. And with that, I'll stop. Thank you.